Next step on this chassis is to add bumpers. Bumpers often end up as an afterthought, and that's when you have bumpers that don't fit or don't accommodate your mechanisms properly. So we want to model them early. And we probably don't need to look at the chassis much for this. Most of the information that we need for them is already in this template part. So you can hide the extraneous features, you can hide the belly pan. But the frame perimeter is the most important part. And so we're going to start with the top plane. We're going to do a top view of the bumper backing. So I'll make a sketch on the top plane. And we'll start with just the corner rectangle tool. I'm going to go with some C-shaped bumpers, a pair of C-shaped bumpers for this chassis. So one over here, one over here. You'll see what that looks like in a moment. We'll come out this direction, a little bit beyond, come up to here, and come out this way. Do the same thing over here. Don't have to be neat with this. We're going to constrain it. We'll do dimensions later. All right, so we got a whole bunch of different sizes here, and that's fine. First thing that we're going to do with this is grab an end face on all of these, and we'll set those equal, because we're probably going to cut all of these out of the same piece of plywood or the same board. So set that equal, set, I don't know, 0.75 is the nominal size. It might be a little bit thinner than that. And now, you move this around, it should stay the right size. So next step is going to be setting them the right distance from the chassis. Now, you could just put these right on the chassis, but bumpers that are made that way almost never fit. You always have a little bit of stuff that accumulates in this gap, the fabric, the mounting means, so you have to give some space. And you could go around, set a bunch of dimensions, but again, you probably want it to be the same from every side. So we'll come in here, we'll do some construction lines between the chassis and the bumper frame. And then we'll set all of those equal at the end. And we'll set one dimension on those. And if you do need to come back in here and change it, you can always go back and delete one of those lines and say, well, this is no longer equal. I'll set a custom dimension. But for right now, generally want to assume that this is going to be the same. So selecting our 6 lines here that set our 6 distances, and we'll set those equal. And then we can put a dimension on this. I'll go up here next to this other one. A good dimension for this is generally somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go big, I'll go all the way 1/8. And that's what we got. We got our frame perimeter, and then we have our inside of our bumper perimeter here. Okay, so there are 4 blue items left in this sketch. Most everything is defined, but that's related to the gaps in between. So we can set these manually. The ones in the front and the ones in the rear may be different. If you've got an intake in the front, for example, we'll set an 1/8 of an inch for each of these. Who knows? You may end up with an asymmetrical robot. All right, that's our fully defined sketch. So that sets where the bumpers are, and the bumpers have to be vertical, but it doesn't set the height at all. So start by naming this sketch bumper top, bumper backing top view. We need something that's going to set the height of the bumpers in this, and we might as well do it with a sketch. So we'll do a sketch on the right plane here. Look at the right plane. And we can just do another rectangle, because it's going to be nominally a cross-section view. As far as the location of this, can select this line here, control click on this point, say coincident. Oh, come on. This point, this line, coincident. And that just says, oh, well, you know, we defined the thickness in that other sketch. So just copy it over to here. But then what's left, and it also sets the positions of these two, so you can't move it back and forth. But you can move this up and down. So we've got a height to define. You know, bumper nominal backing height is 5 inches. And we've got a distance off the ground. So if you start to move this around, you'll see, you know, okay, there's going to be some legal limit. And if you remember from Charged Up, I believe that limit was 8 inches. Or was it 7 inches? Well, we'll call it 7. You can always come back here and change it. So that defines our outline of our bumpers and our height of our bumpers. And that's really enough to get the bumper backing frame set up. Bumper backing cross section. So let's go ahead and construct that. We'll save this part. We'll make a new part. We will insert our template part. We need planes, unabsorbed sketches. That's good. We can hide some of these extraneous planes. Actually, we can hide all of these planes, and we can hide all of our sketches except that. Okay. Select this top view, and we can just do an extrude. You might be saying, oh, the extrude is going to end up in the wrong spot, but we have control over that. So I'm going to select this area to start with, and instead of from the sketch plane, we'll do from vertex. We'll pick this point right here, and then up to vertex, we'll pick this point up here. And then that gives us an extrusion that matches this and that. It's pretty cool. You'll notice I only extruded one of these. We're going to do, just like the chassis tubes, a multi-body part. So we have to do an extrude for each of these. So go back to the sketch again, extrude, vertex. Which vertex? This vertex. Up to vertex. Which vertex? This one. Here's the last important part about this. We don't want to merge the result. If we merge the result, then we'll end up with these three being one single piece and these three being one single piece, and we won't be able to take these and make drawings for fab that show the individual bumper backings. So got to extrude this piece from this vertex to this vertex. Do not merge result. Good. Extrude this from this vertex to, nope, this vertex up to this vertex. Do not merge result. Extrude this region, vertex, up to vertex, not that vertex, this one. Merge result. We don't want to choose the edge of a piece or something like that, because then it could break going forward. If we pick this sketch, then everything is consistent with that. Last one. Extrude this from that vertex up to this vertex. Do not merge result. Okay, and there's our bumper backing. It doesn't have holes for mounting yet. We'll get to that in a bit. But we're ready at this point. Let's go ahead and save this. Bumper backing. Drive base, It's going to rebuild because we put another sketch into the template, but it won't show up. Insert components, bumper backing. And there we go. Bumper backing is in place, and it's a very well-defined height that we can change above the ground. Remember, not in here, but in the template part, this dimension goes to the ground plane. So we don't have any funny guessing about how to do the math, what the thing is. It's just, yep, here's the dimension from the top to the ground. Done. SolidWorks does the math for us. And there we are. That's the bumper backing.